After stealing the case file, I headed to the Welsh Triangle to rob the pirate frog himself, Raleigh. Now, this ambiguous amphibian was part of the gang that killed my father, so naturally, the only response to this was for me to kill all of his underpaid construction workers and steal all of his limited edition top hat keys. We got to the outskirts of Raleigh's hideout, where his airship was a storm machine. It was very wet. And so the operation to rob and beat a frog began. As I made my way towards the hideout, I dodged spotlights, throwing stars, and I whacked countless underpaid staff, robbing them of their money. And finally, after having died more than twice in the first 15 minutes of this children's game, I arrived at Raleigh's hideout. Bentley, my hacking turtle thief in training, showed me how to get to Captain Croker's airship. It wouldn't be easy. First, I would need to steal 2 additional keys to destroy a generator powering a fence that prevented passage to the rest of the hideout. He put green stains in front of the doors where the keys could be found, and so I set off to beat more workers and steal the keys. First, I headed into the machine, the fiery heart of the hideout. I had to close hatches of mixtapes and make my way through a big shaft. The workers tried to stop me, of course, but even while breathing literal heat, they weren't able to stop me. And after dodging lasers, fan blades, and more of Jermaine Cole's albums, I grabbed the key and headed back to the yard so I could get the next key. The next key I had to go get would involve a high-class heist. Unfortunately for Kermit, I wouldn't be stealing all of his statues, jewelry, and artwork, all worth way beyond the millions. I just wanted the second key. After cleverly dodging all of these security beams, a skull on a wall used its Superman eye beams to see my toe, tripping the alarm system and making it a slight inconvenience to break the alarm system that was exclusively for this section. Don't know how security is this bad in the pirate warlord's hideout, but as Sun Tzu said, go through any holes your enemies have. After this, I faced the peasants, longing for fair pay. They attempted to belly flop onto me. They missed, injured themselves, and proceeded to vanish from existence after I hit them with my cane. And I just had to jump on lily pads and avoid some spotlights to obtain the key. Both were done quickly, and I made my way back to the surface to finally unlock that generator, so I could end this human resource nightmare once and for all. After destroying the generator, I was then informed that I would need all 7 keys. Why make them an odd number? Who cares? I decided to go back for the remaining 2. I decided to challenge the fire down below, which I can only assume was a studio where anime companies make their music. But unlike before, I had to run on treadmills. Yeah, a gamer having to do exercise, and here I thought it would be fun. So, I was hooked and ready to go, all the while dodging and brutalizing more SoundCloud rappers. I brought a giant meatball to destroy a wall and made my way through the first Amazon warehouse to get the key. Next, I wore a cunning disguise in Frogman's library, where rats got pegged. I, however, was not interested and channeled my inner snake and used a wooden barrel to sneak past all guards and security measures. But yeah, I just wore a barrel, beat the security guard with his back turned, and snatched the key. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the guard outside spat on me as I was entering the building. Some would charge for that privilege. The second to last key would be what one would consider a load of barnacles. I had to use a submarine to destroy chests containing keys that unlocked the case with the key. However, crabs were trying to steal these keys, and to make matters worse, if a single key was missing, the mission would be a failure. And of course, To put more baloney on this trash sandwich, the developers, in their endless wisdom, decided it would be a good idea to invert the joystick controls for their twin stick shooter segments. I failed multiple times, of course, raged, and finally channeled my inner athlete to get the sixth key. After having a snack in a juice box, I decided to get the final key, conveniently located in the gunboat graveyard. Inside of the hideout? Well, let's just assume the minimum wage workers work on scrapping the boats. I moved from deck to deck like your mom while avoiding ninjas with leather jackets. One ship was still on fire, even though it was raining inside the hideout and already sunk. But I digress. I managed to obtain the final key. Now all that was needed was to unlock the cannon and launch myself onto Captain Toad's airship, because clearly there was no other way up there. And with that life-threatening stunt, I had finally reached the eye of the storm. I had robbed the Green Pirate of his keys, workers, and workplace safety. Now all that was left was to make him regret being literate. So he got really bloated and started jumping after me. I died several times, raged at how I could die so easily in a game intended for furries and children, before finally getting a perfect run. Had to watch the cutscene every time too, so I beat the ambiguous Yuckmouth and got my pages back. Of course, there was an investigation who had mercilessly beat all those underpaid workers, but I escaped. I then returned to my own hideout to make Bentley attach all of the pages to the book and pick my next target. I had a feeling he wouldn't be on a short leash.